Good evening, I'm Shane Jones. Leading the news at 7. The brutal murder of 38-year-old Pauline Clark has baffled those who knew her best. From the scene of her murder to her close-knit neighborhood, people are struggling with the news. Tonight, Kareem Smith takes us into both of those communities.
People living nearby say the 38-year-old woman was leaving after a routine workout at a gym in the building just behind me. She was sitting in the front seat of her vehicle with her teenage daughter when a gunman approached and opened fire. She died moments later. Around 8:30, loud gunshots rang out in the Bush Hall neighborhood, the first indication something had gone terribly wrong.
I look out there, so I went up there, I heard the girls and they're screaming and all that sort of stuff. So I went up there looking, saw a lady there laying down. I figured she was dead though, because you can see any movement in the body, breathing and stuff like that. Then she had a wound there inside of her head, inside of her face. So I figured that was it for sure,
Miss Clark, who works as a nanny, had just finished a session at Profit Gym. The gunman was seemingly unbothered by the presence of her 17-year-old daughter, Kelia Clark, who was grazed by one of the bullets. A woman, while speaking off camera, confirmed that just before the attack, a group of them were exercising together and Miss Clark was joking around.
She was, to me, quite jovial and everything, because we even made a joke about the others that were coming out to the gym, the session before ours. We made a joke about it, that she was saying that they were coming out and not looking like if they were exhausted at all. And then she said to me, like, if we had survived Saturday, because we thought that Saturday, the last session we had was Saturday, and that was like really strenuous. And if we survived that, she figured we would survive tonight. And while she survived the workout, she did not make it through what happened next. At her Chase Gap Halls Road home, her mother, Hazel Clark, and older sister, Beverly Clark, were still coming to terms with their loss.
The daughter told me this morning that when they come out and get in the car, she rolled down the glass, and just as she started the car, they see this man approaching in all black, and she rolled back at the glass, and he went and they got 4 shots, I think. That's my child. Take my child away from me and a mother from a child.
It's just hurtful to see what happened. To see her like that last night, I just numb, shaken. I just lost for words. Just can't explain why this person could do this.
Former parliamentarian Hamilton Lashley, who lives just opposite, did not hide his frustration.
I'm hoping that the perpetrators of this obscene evil be brought to justice as soon as possible, whatever it takes. But when the community loses such a wonderful, beautiful, and compassionate individual, then the whole community mourns together.
Around the community, the sentiments were the same as police appeal to the public for any information that may assist them in solving this crime. Kareem Smith, CBC News.
Thank you, Kareem. Government remains committed to indigenous properties, providing accommodation for the tourism sector, and is exploring ways to further assist them. This assurance from Acting Minister of Tourism and International Transport, Colin Jordan. It comes as the Intimate Hotels of Barbados says its members need help in overcoming the many challenges they're experiencing as the country tries to revive its economic fortunes. Kent Jerson has that story.
The occasion is the annual general meeting of the Intimate Hotels of Barbados at the Lloyd Erskine Sandyford Center. The grouping comprises just under 50 small hotels, guest houses, apartments, and condos, representing about 1,100 rooms. Its chairman, Omar Alahar, uses the occasion to outline the major challenges for the membership.
Basically, lack of resources, lack of finance. We have some new tourism taxes to deal with and absorb. And we have to figure out ways going forward how we're going to be able to deal with this.
He also makes this appeal to government.
In the mini budget, we talked about taxes and how the tourism industry will contribute to Barbados, and we're happy to do that. But we also have to look forward at how we're going to grow And we can't just get the stick all the time. We need to get some of the carrot at times as well.
Acting Minister of Tourism and International Transport, Colin Jordan, assures the members government sees them as important.
Whilst we partner with investors external to Barbados, and whilst we seek to attract a few international brands, we are committed to our indigenous tourism sector.
He goes on to mention some of the ways government intends to assist, including creating an enabling environment.
We just had last week communication from our Attorney General, the Minister of Legal Affairs, and saying to all of us as ministers, just let us know what it is we're looking at in terms of making adjustments or amendments to pieces of legislation. And we are seeking to tweak and in some cases adjust the Tourism Development Act to facilitate greater capital investment.
Minister Jordan also says government is confident Barbados can achieve the Prime Minister's stated objective of $4 billion in revenue and 1 million stayover or long stay visitors by 2023. Kent Gerson, CBC News.
Ken, thanks. A radical shift is about to take place in the way two key state-owned tourism-related organizations are governed and operate. The Barbados Tourism Marketing Incorporated and the Barbados Tourism Product Authority will essentially have the same board. Word of this from Acting Minister of Tourism and International Transport, Colin Jordan. He was speaking on the sidelines of the annual general meeting of the Intimate Hotels of Barbados at the Lloyd Erskine Sandiford Center.
What the ministry has decided as an interim measure is to have a single chair, a single board for the two existing entities, the Barbados Tourism Marketing Inc. and the Barbados Tourism Product Authority. So there's going to be, even though two organizations at the moment, they'll be operating under guidance from a single board and a single board chair, single board directors and a single chairperson of that board. And that will be the interim measure until the structure is finalized and put in place to bring the two entities back together in a private-public sector arrangement.
Mr. Jordan says since tourism marketing and product development go hand in hand, there's no need for two different boards.
There is a working together that must take place, that when you have two separate entities with two separate boards and two separate chairs, you can end up going off in two different directions. That cannot work. We are seeking to develop brand Barbados, destination Barbados, and so the marketing must be understood as the marketing of a product, and the two ideas, the two views, the two activities must happen together, almost simultaneously.
Yet another attempt is being made to reverse some cases of diabetes across Barbados. The second Diabetes Reversal Remission Study has been launched, and it will target 100 participants from 4 churches across the island. It will be conducted by the George Allen Chronic Disease Research Center. Reviewing the 2015 study results, Professor Alafia Samuels explains some positive changes were recorded.
At the time that they started, 22 of them were taking medication for diabetes, and 12 of them were taking medication for high blood pressure. This program was in 3 phases. The first 8 weeks, there was a very low-calorie diet, less than 1,000 calories per day, using a liquid formulation. And at the start of the project, the diabetes medication was stopped. Over the 8-week period, the average weight loss was about 10 kilograms or 22 pounds. And we went from 3 persons to 13 persons whose blood sugar levels were normal.
This year's study is being funded by the Massey Foundation. Chairman Everton Brown believes it will help to encourage behavior changes among diabetics.
That is why the Massey Foundation was fully persuaded to make this almost $145,000 investment to fund this study, as we are convinced that the results from the study have the potential to positively influence the 20% of Barbadian adults who are living with diabetes. With this understanding, we took the view that this financial support was a small investment when considered against the significant potential returns.
5 students will be heading into secondary school come September with a little less of a burden on their minds. That's because they're the recipients of the Bonnet Scholarship, through which their educational needs for their secondary school lives will be taken care of. Former recipient and deputy chairman of the fund, Ryan Brathwaite, told the students drawn from schools in St. John they have an opportunity to create a legacy for themselves.
Do not waste the opportunity. This is an opportunity that many schools across Barbados wish that they could have. It is an opportunity that I hope that you will grasp with all of your energies, and I hope that you will take full advantage of it.
The 5 students are among 30 who have benefited over the years. In addition to the financial support, they received a laptop and a printer. Ariel Speed and Emmanuel Latchman spoke on behalf of the 2018 recipients, noting that they're grateful for the help.
This scholarship means a great deal to me, and this is one step closer to helping me live my dream of becoming an aspiring pediatrician. I promise to continue to strive for excellence. I will always put my best foot forward and do my best in whatever I do, so that I can ensure that my school, current and future teachers, my parents, committee members, and of course, Dr. Bonnet will be proud of me.
Having this scholarship means that I must try hard not to fail or spend 2 years in any class. Right now, there is no computer at my home, but by having this scholarship, I will be given a computer. I am so happy about this. I have always wanted a computer, but my parents couldn't afford one.
The Carnival cruise line has resumed regular calls to Dominica. As we hear in this report, its return follows an 8-year absence.
The 8-year hiatus was broken with the visit of MV Carnival Fascination on Tuesday, which has a passenger capacity of over 2,000. A significant sum of money went into renovating the Roseau cruise ship berth and improving the Dame Eugenia Charles Boulevard for the event. Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Tourism and Culture, Karen Prevost, says the arrival of Carnival Fascination is an important moment for Dominica's tourism sector.
This is very significant for us, particularly post-Hurricane Maria, 10 months after Hurricane Maria, and we all know what the state of tourism was on September 18th, September 19th. So today, Carnival being here after an 8-year absence is very significant to us in the Ministry of Tourism. It's very significant to the tourism sector, and as you are seeing, we do have a number of guests who are coming off. The ship has over 2,000 guests. So today we do expect that our guests will be out and about to all of the sites. All of our sites are open, and we do expect that today will be a successful day. And we're very grateful at the Ministry of Tourism for having Carnival back here today.
Prevost says long-term negotiations were undertaken by authorities to get Carnival's approval to return to Dominica and to make several calls during the summer.
On the regional scene in Belize, 3 people were injured after a leaking butane gas tank exploded. The force blew off a portion of the wall from a house. One young man remains hospitalized in critical condition after he sustained several burns about his body. Channel 5 Belize has more.
21-year-old Grayson Cadle is in the hospital after he was badly burned in a fire that destroyed his apartment and the entire lower flat of this house on the corner of Mopan and Mahogany Streets in Belize City. Cadle, we understand, received significant burns to more than 50% of his body, so he had to do surgery. He's listed in a serious but stable condition. 2 other persons, 35-year-old Lisa Santos and her sister, 56-year-old June Tench, were in their parents' yard when the force of the blast sent fragments flying next door into this property. Santos was hit in the back and Tench was injured to the head. They've both been released from the hospital. Tench recounts the frightening moment. She says she's happy to be alive today.
I heard a boom and something just knocked me on my head. When I lift up my head, like things just dropped down on me. And after that, I ran out of the yard without slippers. 1 foot on, 1 foot off. I didn't know what my glass said, nothing. I just ran out and gone up on the street and stand up. And then when I look back, I just see the house, the fire inside of the house downstairs, just up on this side, to where we made it sit down. And I had to come back and look for my glass and the papers, and somebody said no go back because one gas tank there and it might blow up.
So the force of the explosion, it threw some pieces of glass over to your property.
Everything. I'm glad to be alive, I must say that. I'm glad to be alive because it could have been worse. If that Carnival did it, and I'm still right at the top right now, if that Carnival did it, me, my mom, my sister, and my niece, never mind there right now.
You believe that shielded you guys from the force of that?
It does. It did. The car had one big dent on the side. The glass then broke out.
The impact of that explosion was caught on a surveillance camera across the street. A man was riding his bike when pieces of this gate and a house door went flying across the street. The biker narrowly escaped, but Cadel, who was inside his apartment, wasn't so lucky when the fire erupted. It burnt out the entire lower flat and some flames extended upstairs and scorched the walls and roof. But the fire didn't reach inside the home because the firefighters had contained the blaze. Downstairs, everything was completely destroyed, leaving 4 persons without a roof over their head.
Sports news is next, but before we get there, here's a tip from Cooperators General Insurance.
Across the Caribbean, brought to you by CIBC First Caribbean.
This tip of the day is brought to you by Cooperators General Insurance Company Limited. Insurance the way you want it to be.
Do not wait until the imminent approach of a hurricane to insure your home and contents. Secure insurance coverage early this hurricane season. Cooperators General Insurance, helping you to be prepared this hurricane season.